Hey gamers, what's up? Today I'd like to talk about a laughable game system, the Nintendo Switch. Now, you probably already know about the Nintendo Switch's supply issues, where Nintendo does the same shit they've been doing with accessories last gen, where they don't produce enough of it, next thing you know it's sold out everywhere, and the only place to get it is on eBay if you pay inflated prices for it. However, the other thing with the Nintendo Switch is that it's an unreliable piece of shit. Now, there is a video by the YouTuber Cat that pretty much sums up these issues. I'd recommend subbing their channel. They're a great channel where they basically show lots of things wrong with gaming in the developer's own words. But anyways, enough of that. The thing with the Nintendo Switch is it's an unreliable piece of shit. Now, it has lots of problems. So let's start off with the most minor problem first, okay? So the Nintendo Switch has a plastic screen instead of a glass screen. On one hand, this means it won't shatter if it's dropped a lot. But on the other hand, it's soft, and apparently the dock for the Nintendo Switch has been scratching the system. That's right, the dock for the Nintendo Switch, the system's big selling point, is scratching the system's screen. That is a major design flaw with this system. And this is just one of the many. Here's another thing wrong with this $300 system, okay? The Joy-Cons, you can actually put them on the wrong way. Like, there are some things that clip onto the Joy-Con so you can hold them easier when they're disconnected from the system. And apparently, you can clip these onto the system the wrong way. And if you do that, once they go in, they don't come out. So you'll be hurting yourself, cutting yourself, trying to use a screwdriver to pry it just to get it unhooked. Because it goes in, but it doesn't go out. And that's a major design flaw with the Switch, especially because kids are going to be owning these things. And many YouTubers were making this mistake, and there were kids making this mistake and whatnot. It's ridiculous. And that's not the other thing with Nintendo Switch, okay? The Nintendo Switch is well known for its Joy-Con controllers disconnecting, and this was revealed before launch. There are these game journalists who are having this problem. The system comes out, a day one update doesn't fix it, and it turns out it's a hardware problem, where these controllers lose range after just a few feet compared to the Xbox One and PS4, and even last gen systems like the PS3 and 360, where their controllers have better range than this. It's pathetic. And yet Nintendo's flagship system has these controller range issues. What a joke. Like, if you move it just a little bit farther, boom, you lose range, and you have to hold the controller in a very specific manner. I mean, what were they thinking at Nintendo? Now, the Nintendo Switch has shipped out to people with numerous defects, such as bad screens. And what I mean is, there are screens with lots and lots of dead pixels. Now, what does Nintendo do when they hear about this? They just shrug and say, "It's not our problem," because they posted online that dead pixels are normal, deal with it, instead of replacing Switches with faulty screens. And you've got people who have maybe just a few pixels, and then there's pictures of Switches with tons and tons of dead pixels. And that's not even going into hardware problems. There are Switches that are just getting caught in boot loops. There are Switches that, like, they have, like, artifacting where the GPU is failing, and so you've got games that flicker, games that are appearing glitchy and whatnot. And remember, if you're a PC gamer, you already know this, but if you're a Nintendo gamer who hasn't seen a GPU fail yet, I'm just going to say this. There is no way you can patch this out. Once your GPU's failed, you got to replace it. And not only that, but with the Nintendo Switch, you've also got them freezing up and making loud screeching noises, like the sound of a Nintendo fan when they find out that they have to pay more than $300 for the Nintendo Switch. That's what it sounds like, because they'll just freeze up, and then when they try to turn them off, they'll maybe glitch out a little bit more. I mean, you'll be looking at it and you'll be like, that system's not right. It definitely isn't right. This is reminding me of, like, 2007, 2008, when PS3s and 360s and whatnot were breaking and stuff. And did I mention that Nintendo put the charging port on the bottom of the system? That's right. for a system that they show people putting on the ground and playing with their controllers and commercials, like remember that initial reveal of it? You know how they did that? Well, the thing is, if your battery's low, you can't charge it up like that with, say, a power bank or any of that. The charging port is on the bottom. So you have to either hold the system and play it in handheld mode, or you will have to prop up the system while it's charging somehow. Because that's the thing with the Nintendo Switch. You can't just plug it into a charging port on the side or top. They put it on the bottom. And it makes you wonder, what was Nintendo smoking when they designed this piece of shit? Because that's the thing with the Nintendo Switch. It's a poorly designed console that I guarantee is going to be irrelevant in a few months at this rate. And did I mention that they made the same mistake of launching with like no games as the last few Nintendo systems? I mean, sure, the Switch makes up for this somewhat by launching with Zelda, which they delayed over and over again on the Wii U, probably just so they could line it up with the Switch's release date. But at the same time, that's all you get. All you get is Zelda. You want something else? Tough shit. You're playing Zelda. I mean, it barely has any other games right now, except for maybe a few indie games. And when they were announcing it, they were like, oh, the Nintendo Switch is going to have like 50 to 70, 80, whatever games. It's going to have all these third-party games making games for it, man. It's going to have more games than you idiots have brain cells. It's going to be the greatest game system of all time because it's going to have all these third-party games. And what do you know? The Nintendo Internet Defense Force was spending months before it came out talking about how the Switch was going to have all this third-party. What did they do? They launched with a pathetic launch lineup. I mean, for all the shit the Wii U had, at least it had a few strong third-party games during its launch lineup. What does the Nintendo Switch have? Nothing! It's a dead-ass system already. And maybe it'll get better, I guess, after a few months, but I bet it's going to be like the Wii U, where you'll have the Nintendo Internet Defense Force out in full force, going on and on about how perfect Nintendo systems are, and how they have all these games, while the ship is sinking behind them. That's what's going to happen, people. I guarantee it. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more gaming.